koi fish in art. Koi fish were first bred in China. There are now many varieties of koi, which have been exported and bred around the world. In some countries, the koi fish represents good luck and good fortune. Koi fish were originally brown and were grown for food in China. This painting is called Two Carp. It was painted on a fan by Japanese artist Katsushika Hoshikasai. Koi fish became popular in Japan during the 17th century when they were imported from China. Sometimes there would be koi fish that were red or blue in color. Farmers started to selectively breed them. Japanese breeders began developing new varieties of koi with unique patterns and colors. The Japanese created their own style of koi fish paintings. They used bold, graphic lines and colors. There are now more than 100 different varieties of koi fish. People love them all over the world. This painting was created by Thanapum Bunapot. He's from Thailand. Koi fish are often kept in outdoor meditation gardens. People like to sit next to the ponds and quietly contemplate their beauty and colors. We now have koi fish that are red, orange, yellow, white, black, and blue. They are like a rainbow. What colors do you see here? Since koi fish now live all over the world, there are many different styles of koi fish paintings. This painting is called 8 Koi Fish Playing with Bubbles by Zaira Zoyabiva. She is an artist in the United States. In this painting, the artist is using warm colors for the fish. Warm colors are colors that make you think of fire or the sun. What are the warm colors? If you thought of yellow, orange, red, pink, you're right. The artist is using cool colors for the water. Cool colors are colors that make you think of water, plants, grass. What are the cool colors? If you thought of green, blue, and purple, you're right. This painting was created by Christy Freeman. She's from the United States. What kind of colors did this artist use for the fish and flowers? Did you guess warm colors? What kind for the water and lily pads? Did you guess cool colors? This kind of flower is called a water lily. You will often find them along with lily pads in koi ponds. Lily flowers come in a variety of colors. They are most often white, pink, or yellow. This painting was created by Michael Crease. He lives in the United States. Do you notice how many different colors of water lilies and koi fish there are in this painting? It was created by Sarah Morton. She is also from the United States. I hope you find all of these different kinds of koi paintings to be inspiring as you create your own. For today's lesson, you're going to need your water-based Crayola markers. Mine are from the big class pack, so I have a few more color varieties. But if you just have the regular ones, that's fine too. I have a pencil. I have a couple of different brush sizes, a cup of water, and some salt. Your salt can just be regular table salt, rock salt, or Epsom salts. Now I'm going to go ahead and take and move all of this to the side. And the first thing I want to do is I really want to talk about the different kinds of koi fish that there are and the different parts of a koi fish. So as you go and look at this koi fish, first we're looking at a side view of it. Now in koi fish paintings, we're normally looking at the top view, but I first want us to just to recognize the different parts that you see in a koi fish. So you might see its eye, its tiny little nostril, its mouth. These are called barbels, the little whiskers that come off of it. We have the whole lateral side view. And now let's look at all the different fins. You're going to notice that there's one fin at the very top called the dorsal fin. And then we have 3 fins, 1, 2, 3 fins at the bottom. We have a pectoral fin, a ventral fin, and an anal fin. And then there's the big caudal fin in the back. Now, as we go to look at ours today and draw them, we're going to be looking at the top views. Now, when you get to the top views, you're going to notice a few things. First of all, can you see all of the fins? No, you can't. You can only see the 2 side fins and maybe a little bit of the dorsal fin on top and a little bit of the tail fin. Now, you're also going to notice the shape. Do you see how it's kind of a U shape? And it goes back into a triangle. This one's a bigger U shape and goes into a triangle as well. Here is another U shape moving into a triangle, a U shape moving into a triangle. So when we go to draw today, we're going to be drawing that U shape and triangle. We are going to draw just a few fins that are showing, not all of them. And then we're also going to be showing a little bit of our tail fin. So all we're really seeing are the pectoral fins and a little bit of the caudal fin. The dorsal fin is pretty much hidden in our view. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of drawing today. We're going to get our pencil, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the front view of our fish. Now, we're making that U shape, so maybe you want to make your U shape up here, maybe there, maybe in the middle, maybe over there. It doesn't matter where you make the U shape of your fish. I think I'm going to do my U shape over here. So find a place, put your finger, point to it, get that spot, and then when you have your spot, I want you to go ahead and take and put your hand down. Okay, so you're going to have all of your fingers down like this, and then you're going to make your U shape over your fingers. So make the front part of your fish over your fingers. Now let's go ahead, we're coming back into a V shape, so let's come a little ways away from it. And you can make it off to the side if you want your fish to have a curve or straight back. It's up to you. So go ahead and put in a dot. And that's going to be where our fish is going to go to. So I'm going to take and I'm going to come and curve over here. And I'm going to take and come and curve over here. And so now I have the whole top part of my fish. And now I want to put in a little bit of my back fin, and you can see it a little bit. So let's go ahead, we're going to put in a dot. Once again, let's draw a line. And now let's take and draw another line a little bit past it and cut over. And if you want it to be showing a little bit more, you could do another line and draw back. And so now we can see our back caudal fin. Now we're going to put in our pectoral fin. So we're going to come up to the front, and we're going to take and we're going to come and curve and put in a fin. We're going to come on this side, we're going to take and curve and put in a fin. Now we are ready to put in some eyes. So let's come and put in an oval shape and an oval shape. And there is a little bit of a mouth shape. It kind of comes up and goes in and goes over. So I go up, I curve in, I go over. Now I have my basic fish shape. Now with koi fish, the next thing you have to start to think about is the different kinds of color you want yours to be. Because you can see with koi fish, oh my goodness, there's so many. Sometimes they have spots. Sometimes they're all yellow. Sometimes they're orange with spots. Sometimes they're black and white. There are so many different colors of koi fish. Now, Most of the koi fish are warm colors. So warm colors are yellows, oranges, and reds. So those are the main colors that you'll see, the main warm colors. And then you'll see some white and black as well. So I'm going to use warm colors for my koi fish. So I think I'm going to be using some orange and some yellow. And maybe a tiny bit of red. Now you can use whatever warm colors you would like, or if you want to do your own style, you could do your own style. So maybe you want to take and put some spots into your koi fish. Maybe you want to color yours all one color. Take and do whatever you want. Now as you go to do it, I'm going to show you a trick with these markers. So I'm putting in this spot. And I don't have to color it in all the way. I can just do part of it, and I can leave some white in the middle. And then I could keep adding in more areas. So I want you to notice how I left places completely white. Now I could leave them completely white, or if I want, I'm going to show you how you can do some blending with your paints. So we're going to be using our markers as paints today. So I'm going to go and get my brush wet, and I want to do my lightest colors first. And yellow is my lightest color. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to activate my yellow, and a little bit of orange might catch in. That is okay. I am activating my yellow and turning it into a paint. If I go out of my lines a little bit, that doesn't matter. And I'm going to do all of my yellow first, and I think I'm going to also do my fins. And you'll notice, even though I didn't fill my fins in all the way, how they fill in. Now I'm also going to go ahead and come up and do my front mouth. And now I'm going to let this dry. I want to let it dry all the way, because if I want my spots to hold, I can't have this be wet and this be wet at the same time, because they'll run into each other. See how they're already starting to run into each other a little bit here? So I'm going to let this dry completely. Now, while I let this dry completely, I'm going to show you how to draw a lily pad. So we're going to let that just be, and find some spot on your paper, and we're going to take and we're going to make a lily pad now. And a lily pad is kind of like a squished circle. So I'm going to take and make kind of a squished circle. And then I'm going to go onto one side of it. I'm going to put a little dot so I know where I'm going. And I'm going to take and draw a triangle shape. And then once I draw my triangle shape, I am going to erase it out, almost like I have a little mouth that is eating. And then I could take and add in a few lines. And now I have a lily pad. And I think it might be fun to make another lily pad. So see, you could add as many lily pads as you want. And what's nice is you can make them overlapping. So see how I made my lily pad overlapping. So you can try that too if you want. You can put in another mouth. Erase it out. And draw some lines. So now I have some lily pads to go along with my fish. Isn't that looking lovely? If I wanted to add more over here, I can, or I can just let it be water. Now this is looking pretty dry now, so I'm going to go ahead, get some water, and now I'm going to come into this spot. And it's going to be brighter at my edges because I used a lot of orange. But because I didn't use a lot in the middle, my spot's going to be a little bit lighter in the middle. And so there is my first fish spot. I'm going to make another one right here. There is my next one, and I'm going to put in a little bit of water into this one too. And the last step, I'm going to put water into my head spot. So now that my fish is painted, now I'm going to paint my lily pads. Now when I go to use my lily pads, I can use greens, I can use purples. I think I'm going to mostly use these two greens, and I think actually you could also use brown. So I think I'm going to use these. So when I go to do one, once again, I don't have to fill in my whole lily pad. In fact, I can go in and maybe trace over my lines if I want to. You can also just color them in however you want. It is completely up to you. You can use different colors. And I'm going to use a couple of greens in mine. And you'll notice I'm not coloring them in all the way. I'm going to let the water do some of the work for me. So I'm only coloring them in a little bit. And I'm going to add in a little bit of brown too. Now when I go to do water, I have to do one lily pad at a time. I have to do one and then I have to let it dry if they are touching. If not, they'll run into each other. So I'm going to do this lily pad first, and I'm going to do my greens first. So I'm going to blend my greens together. And then I'm going to go into where my browns are. And now I'm going to let that lily pad dry completely. If I let it dry completely and then I do that one, then they will look like two separate lily pads. If I do them at the same time, they're going to run into one another and just become one lily pad. So we're going to let that friend dry. We're dry now, so I'm going to come over and I'm going to do this lily pad. And I dip into my water. And now I have two lily pads. So here's my fish, my lily pads. Now I can go ahead and start putting in my water. Now when I go to put in my water, I can use blues, I can use purples, I could add in some browns or some greens if I wanted to. And I'm going to show you the process of putting in your water. Now you might want to have a little bit of a scratch paper underneath so you don't get paint all over your desk. So you can take and put a piece of paper right underneath, and that way if you color off the edge it won't matter. Now as you go to do this, you're going to just do one little section at a time. So you'll see how I do one little section, and I've gone in and put in some blue, and I think I'm going to add in a little bit of purple down in here too, just a little bit. And after I do a little bit of a section, then I get some water and I'm going to activate it. And then after I activate it, I'm going to take some salt and I'm going to sprinkle some salt on. And then that is going to make something very interesting happen. And you're just going to have to watch and wait. Now, while that part is drying, I'm going to do another little section. And I can go up to my fish, but I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to stay a little ways away. After I do a little section, I'm going to take my water and once again, I'm going to activate that section. And it is okay if you go in and touch into your other water. We want them to bleed together. And you'll notice I put in a little bit of green and blue this time. Now, as I get close to my fish, I'm going to come in and bring my water with my brush right up to my fish. And after I do a section, I'm going to take and I'm going to sprinkle in some salt once again. And then I'm going to move on to my next section. And I'm just going to keep doing section by section. And I'll move my paper around to keep my desk clean. Now I'm starting to get close to my lily pads now, and they're dry, so I can go ahead and go up next to them. But you want to make sure that your fish and your lily pads are totally dry before you do your water, because if they aren't dry, they're going to merge into one another. And if that happens, it's not a big deal. It'll just look like your lily pads or your fish are partly submerged underwater, which is okay as well. But if you want to keep them a little bit separate, then you want them to be dry. Now at the very end, if I want to go in and put in any color into my eyes as well, I can. I'm going to take and do a little bit of brown in my eyes. I'm going to leave a little bit of white as a little highlight in there. And there I have my finished koi fish. Once it completely dries, I can brush off all of the salt and hang it up on the wall. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning all about koi fish. Bye-bye.